Good morning, everybody. My name's Todd Newcomb. I'm the Associate Director of Athletics at Bucknell. And on behalf of Vice President for Athletics and Recreation, Jermaine Truax, and our partners at Learfield, it's an honor to partner with Siena College, the Lackawanna County Visitors Bureau, and Geisinger to announce a special event coming to the area later this fall. On Saturday evening, November 30th, the Bucknell and Siena men's basketball teams will play a regular season neutral site game at the Mohegan Arena at KC Plaza. It will be the first Division I game played in this area since December 27th, 2005, when Syracuse defeated Towson in front of more than 8,200 fans. Of course, the star of that Syracuse team was Scranton native Jerry McNamara, who will be returning home once again as he is now in his first season as the head coach at Siena. Coach McNamara's Saints will be taking on a Bucknell team that is led by second-year head coach John Griffin. A year ago, Coach Griffin guided the Bison to a tie for second place in the Patriot League regular season standings and a berth in the Patriot League tournament semifinals. These are two historically strong mid-major programs, and we are very excited for this matchup in November. We're very pleased to have both coaches with us here today. And at this time, I'd like to have both coaches say a few words, and we'll start with Coach Griffin.
Thank you, Todd. First, I couldn't be more excited to be here in Scranton today alongside of a good friend of mine, Jerry McNamara, to announce this game, that we're hitting a community that is vastly underrated for its passion for basketball. And Jerry's a major part of the basketball love here in the area. But for us at Bucknell, one of our media markets is the Scranton Wilkes-Barre market. And so this is a really unique opportunity for us that as a program, I'm really excited to be a part of. Jerry's going to do an unbelievable job at Siena. I have no doubt about that. And I'm really just, like I said, really excited. Right now, college basketball, there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of moving parts, but it's an exciting time for mid-major basketball. This is a great opportunity for two, as Todd mentioned, two historic basketball programs and two quality mid-major programs to get together, play a non-conference game in what's considered a neutral site, but will not be a neutral site by any stretch of the imagination. I remember Jerry would have 25 buses going from Scranton to Syracuse, and I'm imagining there will be a similar type of following for him on November 30th. But I would also like to thank, as Todd said, we had some people work behind the scenes to get this across the finish line. This was a challenging effort. There are a lot of moving parts for two mid-major college basketball programs to join together. Administrations and the staffs, obviously finding the date that worked with the help of the Mohegan Sun Arena, Tim Pavlechko, our deputy AD, Mike Trudnick, who works for Learfield, John Darginio, the athletic director at Siena. All these people really worked hard for about 2 months to get us to this point, and I'm just really excited about it. And along with that, history has a tendency to repeat itself. So I have played Jerry twice in my life, and I am undefeated, once in high school and once in college. And, Jerry's new in first year in the seat, calling timeouts. I kind of took advantage of that, and I would like to stay undefeated if I could. And it certainly made sense for me in that regard. So, again, I'm super appreciative of Jerry. Really taking a leap of faith here. We tried to get this off the ground within the first week of him being hired, and we're here. It's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you all for being here, and I'll pass it off to Jerry.
Coach, welcome, Coach Jerry McNamara.
Thank you. I'm going to keep this quick. I have a tea time with him today. He reminded me this week of our matchup in high school, sent me the link to the article. I got about 1 or 2 sentences in, and I X'd it out. So, I'm really proud of Griff. He and I kind of came up together in this. playing against each other, watching him go through his process in college, seeing each other on the road, going to dinner, having a beverage or two together. But this has been in the works for a while. You know, for us talking about a game, you know, we talked when I was at Syracuse about maybe doing this event. I didn't think it made much sense then. It makes a lot of sense now. But I'm just so proud of him, you know, to take over his own program. He's a great friend. I think he hit the nail on the head. Our administrations, you know, they made this happen. This isn't easy. There are a lot of moving parts. The patience it took on both sides was incredible. It's very easy in our industry to move and move fast, panic and get out. So I want to thank both sides, really. But really, it was Griff and I made the decision we wanted this game. And our administrations trusted us and made it happen for us. And I think we're both so appreciative of that fact. I tried to keep today quiet. My mother called me twice. My wife asked me, should I be here? I was worried that the word would get out that we were doing a presser, and Kathy Gavin would be in the parking lot over on Garrity's and Kaiser Avenue running a bus trip to the Hilton downtown. That's always the support I've gotten from this area. I want them to hold those bus trips till November 30th of this year. But again, I think Coach Griff, this is two really, really quality programs with rich tradition, two good friends with passion for the sport, that are trying to think outside the box. And this is home. This is home to me. The game has taken me different places, but this is my home. So it's a blessing anytime I get a chance to come back, but this one is special. This is different. 2005, seems like a long time ago, and for Coach to make this happen for us, what a blessing for me in my first year to come back here, have an opportunity to lead my own program and do it in front of, you know, I said it in the statement, 8,200 fans showed up. This is a high-level area for sports, a very passionate area for sports. And, you know, where's Dave Januzzi's? Januzzi in the back there. You know, I grew up watching guys like him. I remember watching Bobby Sura at the Scranton CYC, the Siegel boys. You know, you hear golf talk about it a lot, you know, of moving the game forward. How do we reach more people? I like to think that in this area I was impacted by players that I grew up to watch. I'd like to think that we can bring our programs to this area and hopefully inspire other players in this area to maybe one day get an opportunity to play for programs like ours, because there's good players in this area. He knows them, I know them, and trust me, there's going to be a few over the next years that are good enough to play for both of us. So to be able to showcase our programs to an area that deserves this area deserves games like these. And I think that's why we're so excited about this. I'm also really excited because I actually have a guy from Wilkes-Barre, Justice Schultz, who in his first year going from Lock Haven, transferring up to us in Division I, in his first year gets a chance to play in his hometown. You know, a luxury that I got in my senior year at Syracuse. So, you know, it's been way too long. I'm glad that the last two games I was a part of bringing this to this area, because the area deserves it. And I couldn't be more grateful and honored to do it against a friend. I'm going to hopefully take him on the course today and get a little payback. I won't publicly say it like he did, what my record is against him. But again, I'm so grateful to both administrations, to a good friend who I know he's going to get this thing rolling like he was when he was a player. And I have full intention of doing the same thing at Siena College. So thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you, coaches. Before we take questions from the media, just a few notes about the game. Tickets for the game will go on sale soon through Ticketmaster. We will have a follow-up announcement about the exact date when sales start. There will be opportunities for special seating, such as courtside and club sections. The tip time is still being finalized, but we can tell you that it will be an evening game on November 30th, likely 6 or 7 p.m. Stay tuned for confirmation on the exact tip-off. And one other note, in conjunction with Mike Trudnak at Learfield, Coach Griffin and the Bison basketball team will hold clinics both in Lackawanna and Luzerne counties sometime this fall to both promote the Bucknell-Siena game and the game of basketball itself to the youth in the area. So we're looking forward to that as well. So now we'll welcome questions for either coach. I'd ask the media member to please identify your name and your organization before you ask a question. The floor is open for questions.
Scott Walsh from the Scranton Times-Tribune for both coaches. What was the starting point of this? You know, you guys talked about how you're friends and everything like that, but when you saw you guys were playing each other, was that, hey, we should do this? How did it kind of get rolling a little bit?
I'll answer that. Jerry's been in contention for head coaching opportunities up to the Siena situation a number of times. And so as an assistant, when you're on the road, you just, as he mentioned, you go out to dinner, you start to network and build relationships with people. And Jerry and I, although we've played against each other, he's a little bit older than me. And I've always, I know I joke about being 2-0, but I'm from Philadelphia, he's from Scranton, and you always hear about the legend of Jerry McNamara when you're in high school, scores 70 points a game seemingly, and he's like, this incredible figure 2 hours north of you. So we became friendly through coaching, quite frankly, and we've relied on each other to navigate some interview experiences, and I've always had this thought that as soon as he was able to get a job or I was able to get a job, we would find a way to get him back here. And he mentioned it, he's very proud of his home. He's very proud of the championship that he won. He's very proud of being associated with this area. So as soon as he got the job, I called him. I said, Jerry, we're going to do it. And it's going to take some time to figure out how. And we needed help from our administrations, our leadership, but the patience factor, and fortunately for me, I'm going into my second year. Jerry's had a lot of boxes to check as a first-time head coach in today's college climate. So I knew he was going to be tied up in recruiting, and I said, just let us figure it out, and we'll bring it back to you. And he saved the date, which is a major part of scheduling. And our administration, Tim Pavlechko and Mike Trudnick, we worked with Mohegan Sun, and we got the date, and Jerry was all in the whole time. He unwavered, he trusted us, and very appreciative of that. But that's where it started through just casual conversation over the last decade, and here we are. And as he mentioned, he's excited, I'm excited. And we're just very grateful that we're able to be here in front of you with this announcement, because I think that it'll bring a college basketball energy to the area.
Others?
For Jerry, Bob Iyer, Fox 56. Jerry, obviously you took the job, you left Syracuse. What's it been like since then as the head coach? I mean, you mentioned recruiting. Obviously, you're recruiting. What are some of the challenges you found out as being a head coach versus being an assistant?
You get pulled in a lot of different directions as a head coach. You got to deal with fundraising, a lot of different meetings. You got to go out, meet a lot of different people. There's a lot of various moving parts that go into being able to fund a program as well. So those things become at the forefront. We're dealing right now in a landscape that we're all still trying to navigate. One that's constantly fluctuating in terms of NIL and things of that nature. So the first priority was recruiting. I needed to field the roster. The first 2 months were a whirlwind, a lot of busy days. I think we had 13 straight days of visits. I think 9 recruits over 13 days. So it felt like Bill Murray and Groundhog Day by like day 8. But then all that calmed down for me once I got my group on campus June 3rd. Then it was back to business as usual. So I think, Coach Griff he'll probably have the same opinion of this. We're coaches, so everything else slows down when we get on the court. So as fast as the whirlwind was to put it together, as soon as I got an opportunity to coach, that's when I felt most at ease. I felt anxious until I had my group on campus, and I haven't felt anxious since. So it's just been a great transition. One of the best, I'll tell you, I got a lot of messages when I got the job. I got a lot of messages before I got the job. One of the best messages I got was from Coach Griff, from a friend. And he said, I don't know if you remember this, Griff. He said, congratulations, good luck. Hire people you trust. Here if you need me. And it was that simple. Like no warrant of a text back, but just an appreciation of, I like the fact that I've got a colleague in this business that I know I can confide in, someone that's going to be there. So it's just I've been lucky. I've made a lot of great relationships in this business and worked with a lot of great people, and I felt like I was prepared for it because I had a good support system.
Coach Griff, Coach Jerry, Nick Slack from WBRE. This can be for either of you guys. Obviously, entering this year, there's been a lot of conference realignments that's playing a major factor, not only in basketball, but college sports in general. What should excite people about coming to see two mid-majors take on one another, especially early on in the season? Because November is when a lot of the big schools will play one another before conference play starts up. But what should people know about two mid-major schools, facing one another in a November matchup before conference play starts?
I'll take that first, Griff. I think first and foremost, people in this area should be excited that there's a game coming their way. It's been too long that there's been quality mid-major programs or any program at all to be in this area. So right from the start, I think there's excitement of these are two really historic mid-major programs that, look at it from the national landscape. You don't think he and I have, aspirations of being one of those teams like Oakland this year to take down a big dog? It's proven you could do it. You just got to compile the right people. So who's to say that one of us can't be one of those teams in the next year or two, maybe even this year, that compile a team of kids that buy into what we're about, that are about winning, play for each other, and you get a sneak peek at two programs that are hopefully on the rise in the mid-major ranks, that are trying to do some damage, and an area that deserves games, that hasn't had games. Yeah, you should be excited about that. But mid-major basketball has proven over the years that they can do some serious damage against some of these high-quality Power 5 opponents. And I think he and I, we don't cheat the process in terms of trying to be one of those teams, but we have aspirations of being one of those teams.
Yeah, Jerry said it, I think, spot on. He hit it spot on. Every part of the season for us is a process towards being the best at the end of the year, heading into our conference tournaments. And that's the main thing for us at the mid-major level. But the other part of it is both him and I agree philosophically on creating experiences for our players, for our student athletes. Playing in the Mohegan Sun Arena, which is just a great venue, a professional venue, getting to a neutral site. There's an entirely different experience that our program will have just from the atmosphere itself. We have two very proud, loyal fan bases that will, I think, take full advantage of the opportunity to coming to the Mohegan Sun Arena. We draw well in Lewisburg, and people really care about Bucknell basketball, and the same is said for Siena basketball. And I know it well. My father was the head coach at Siena in 1982 to 1986. I was born in Albany, New York, and I was baptized on campus. So John Darginio, who's the athletic director at Siena, was working the athletic department when my father was the head coach, and that's a very storied program. But it wasn't too long ago that Siena basketball was beating Ohio State in the NCAA tournament. It wasn't long ago for us that we're competing against UConn with Kemba Walker, or we were playing West Virginia. So both of our programs are uniquely positioned based off our history of getting to the NCAA tournament, but not only getting to the NCAA tournament, of being successful, which I also think adds on to, at least for this particular game, two programs that, although we are working to being the best we can be this upcoming season, have a history of success on a national level. And that's also exciting for me. It's exciting for our fan base. And I know from an experience standpoint for both programs, players, again, Mohegan Sun Arena, I think it'll make it a pretty unique opportunity. And that's what we're looking to provide in the mid-major college basketball world of, we're looking to offer opportunities of exposure where our players can hit a new market, maybe brand themselves, brand our program to a market that maybe is untapped for our programs, but also give our program the opportunity to compete on this neutral floor, in this amazing venue against a really highly competitive team, ultimately preparing us, like I said, and like Jerry said, for the conference tournament. And the MAC tournament's in Atlantic City. That's a neutral site, so this will be a neutral site opportunity that I'm sure he'll take full advantage of. We don't have that, but I'm sure he will and prepare for that neutral site situation, heading into March for Siena.
Jerry, one more time. You mentioned Justice. He's making this transition from D2 to D1. What have you seen from him so far, and how do you think his transition will go?
He's been terrific. I think I've seen the growth of him throughout the summer. I think, it took about week 3, and all of a sudden he was earlier and earlier to practice, getting in the gym, working on his game. We're big on skill development, and he's got a head start because he's a good player. But I think anybody that's watched the kid play understands what he could do in transition. In the open court, it's very difficult to stay in front of, regardless of level. That hasn't changed. He's moved up a level, and he's still a handful in the open court, still a handful to keep out of the paint. So I've just been really, really pleased with his maturation in terms of the preparation, of how he's come in every day, with the intent to get better, playing kind of multiple positions in the style we're playing. And he's been really good with the basketball, I think, as the summer's gone on, protecting it more and more, making better reads, making him, hopefully the most complete point guard he could be. But just a great young man to be around. He's got great energy. I've been very, very fortunate with the group we've compiled. He's fit right in because everybody's selfless and on the same page. And I can't wait to see what he does with this opportunity, because from the first time I watched him when he was in high school with NEPA, my same AU program, it was during COVID on Zoom or on the computer, and my eyes told me back then this kid's a Division I player. And what he did at Lock Haven, I think was, kind of speaks for itself. So I've been really, really happy with him. It's a joy to coach him.
Others? All right, so thank you, coaches, for answering those questions. Coaches will both be available for one-on-ones as soon as we're done here. We'd like to wrap up with a photo of the two coaches centered around our poster board up here, so if you guys want to step up and get a photo opportunity here. Also want to mention that representatives from Mohegan Arena and Lackawanna County Visitors Bureau, as well as Mike Shrudnak from Learfield, will also be available if you need any information from them. Folks, I want to thank you so much for attending today. We're looking forward to November 30th. Thank you.